A sharply higher day in the April live cattle, up almost 250 points on the day, and that was the highest close that we've seen since November 6th. Actually, was the first time we've closed above the 100-day moving average, a major level of resistance, now a significant level of support. First time above that, closing above that, since October 19th. So a lot of milestones were reached here on Thursday's trade with this sharply higher day that we saw in cattle. And it's been a pretty strong rally here, basically since we put our lows in the beginning of December. Uh, in fact, at this point, we've retraced about half the move that we had to the downside from September through December, and now it bounced back and taken back about half those losses. There's a lot of talk from cattlemen that there is just simply not the animals out there to be had, which is what is pushing prices, one of the factors pushing prices higher. And a lot of that was confirmed when we saw the USDA's cattle inventory report late Wednesday. That showed the smallest cattle herd that we've seen since the early 1950s. Yeah, 1950s. That's correct, folks. And we were down about 1.9, almost 2% year over year. That marks the fifth consecutive decline that we've seen in a row, sixth consecutive yearly decline that we've seen in a row in our cattle herd. Now, there's a lot of factors that have gone into that. We've gone through a period of really high-priced feedstock, corn, wheat, alfalfa, hay even. These things have been rather expensive for various reasons, supply reasons, hot demand when we had really, really strong inflation, global logistics, lots of different things have really come together to push those prices higher, but also a lot of dryness in the plains, prairies, and Southwest meant very little pasture to be had, which means that demand for the feedstocks had been stronger. So that's really kind of cut into the size of the herd. Now, grain prices have been falling, so that might start to alleviate itself, but that is a fairly long process for cattle. So we'll see how that goes from here. In the meantime, we had our weekly export sales report on Thursdays, as we normally do on non-holiday weeks. And it was a solid number at 16.7 thousand metric tons. The usual suspects were on that list, with Japan, China, and Mexico being the largest three buyers for the week. It's nice to see China in there, and Japan and Mexico are the traditional trade partners that we have for beef. So overall, I'd say it was a neutral to positive weekly export sales report. Going forward, we will be watching what happens with consumer demand. Box beef prices have been a little bit softer in recent days, but overall, I think the indices that we look for strength of economy and whether consumers are going to continue to buy higher cut prices of beef, seem to be pointing towards yes. So we'll be watching for that consumer demand and how that develops going forward. We're also watching weather and how that affects weights and how that affects packers. So there's a lot of things to be paying attention for cattle going forward. So stay tuned, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and you stay safe.